If you're trying to build a business that has longevity and marketability, building that trust with your audience is key. On today's podcast, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Come listen.
Welcome to the Behind Her Brand podcast with your host, Kimberly Spencer. Every week, join Kimberly and her guest for inspiring interviews with passionate business builders, corporate leaders, and catalysts of change. Plus, we will be sharing business and career building strategies and tools that you can use to grow. So let's dive into today's episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Behind Her Brand podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Deshelle Spencer. And as you all know, if you've been listening to our podcast any length of time, you know one of the subjects I absolutely love to talk about is building a really successful brand, but also building one that's marketable. So in the next couple of podcasts, we're going to really focus on building a marketable brand. So today we're going to talk about building brand trust. Now, if you're thinking immediately like, well, I know all about that, be consistent, it'll build trust. We're going to dig a little bit deeper than that. First, I'm going to ask you this. Right now, if I was to ask you to go into your kitchen and pick out the top 5 brands that you have been loyal to for the last few years. Many of us have our favorite milk, our favorite butter. We have our favorite olive oils. We have our favorite mixes. Many of us have our favorite type of brands that we buy no matter what, right? We buy it because we trust them. We buy it because we love the flavors. For whatever reason that you buy a particular brand that you stay loyal to, we commit to certain brands because we like it. Here's the thing. Do people commit to your brand because they trust you? Think about that for a second. Was it a few months ago, I believe, and it was all over the news. Southwest had this really big situation when it came to the holiday season, okay? And I wanted to watch to see how this brand was going to handle the responses. And they took ownership of a lot of mistakes that they made. And I watched people literally, who were brand loyal. They spoke out in favor of Southwest. They made sure people knew that, you know what, this was not a common situation. Like they were standing by the brand because they trusted them and because they were loyal. Okay. So why am I giving you these different examples? I want you to put in your mind and really have a frame of space of about the different brands that you stay committed to and think about why. And then now translate that to your own business brand, whether you're running a nonprofit, whether you're running a business, or maybe if you even started your business and you want to put this in place early on. It's important to create a frame around your business that people trust. And here are a couple of elements that will build that trust. First and foremost, we already know the obvious: consistency. Now, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper in consistency. It's not just about how many times you post. It's not about how many times that you show up on social media. It's consistency in your messaging. Okay. How many brands have you ever say, I'm going to try them out, and then you got confused by exactly what it is they offer? Or you kind of felt like, well, I thought I was signing up for this, but it seems like you guys are doing this over here. And it was just confusing. And then all of a sudden, because you were confused, you decided you didn't want to take any more chance or spend any more of your money or time with that particular brand. A confused buyer does not buy. A confused buyer obviously will never refer you. A confused buyer will basically be like, you know what? They may actually speak negative about your brand, saying that they are very confused by what it is that you actually offered. You don't want to confuse anyone coming into your business, whether they're a prospect or whether they're an not established, whether a prospect, customer, or client. You do not want to confuse them. I got a little tongue tie there. You want to make sure that your messaging is clear. That immediately will give them a sense of, okay, let me test them out. Let me reach out. When you're consistent with your messaging over time, people will trust that you are who you say that you are. This is not about brand slogans. This is not about jargons. It's not about any of those things. This is about being consistent in your messaging. Obviously, you also got to be consistent in your posting. People want to see that you care. If you're inconsistent with how you integrate information and how you put it out there, people are not going to feel like you pay attention to your own business, so how will you pay attention to them? And if any of you are thinking this moment, well, Kim, that seems like a far leap. It's not. If you don't engage with your brand consistently, people are going to assume that you don't care about what your image is and what information you're putting out there. Those elements definitely build trust. Okay. And here's the third component that I want you to look at. I want you to look at, we're going to dive in this a little bit deeper in another podcast, but look at the information that you're putting out there. Okay. We looked at the consistency, making sure that you're consistently putting information on the different entry points to your business. And the third and final is the quality of what you are putting out there builds trust. Quality is not just about how pretty things look. Is the information something that's current? Is it relevant? Okay. And like I said, we're going to dive into this a little bit deeper in another podcast, but the quality of information is key. But for the purpose of right now, I also want you to look at your quality of testimonials, the quality of what people are saying about their experience with you. There's so many times when I look at testimonials and I read them and people are sharing how much they love the person, they love the experience, they love all the different things, and that sounds great, right? But if it doesn't speak to what it is that you actually do, what is it the solution that you're actually providing? If your testimonials are not speaking to that as well, you can tend to lose a little bit sense of initial trust. Think about this. Whenever you're researching a particular restaurant, many people go to the reviews, right? They want to hear about the experience, the quality, the service. They want to hear about all these different elements of this particular restaurant. When you are researching a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, or a school, you talk to people, you ask them, so tell me about the staff, tell me about your experience, tell me about the quality of education. You're asking a lot of different questions because you want to know about the completeness of that particular professional brand restaurant experience. People need to feel the same thing with you. Your testimonials from people that have experienced the solution that you offered should, one, be placed in all the different entry points to your business, blogs, podcasts, website, you name it. It needs to be put in different aspects, but it also needs to speak to the before and after. Why did that person come to you? And that person should state that in the testimonial. And then they should state, this is how I'm leaving. This is my experience. This is the results that I gained. This is why I'm still with the brand. Whatever it might be, speaking to how they came into your respective business, organization, what have you, is key. That is key because people identify with that. You want people to say, man, that's me. Man, she sounds like me. Oh, I want that kind of result. Oh, man, my team needs someone like this person because, man, we're going through that right now in my company. Or I get hung up on this with my weight journey or my wellness journey. And what she says speaks to me. You want people to self-identify through the testimonials and feedbacks that they get. That immediately creates a sense of, okay, you know what? I might want to contact them because if they got this kind of result, I definitely want to reach out. Here's another element to testimonials and case studies. It is very critical, in my personal opinion, to make sure that you have the full name of the person that is giving you a testimonial. And I'm a big believer in this, a link to the website or some type of identifier to, if they want to reach out to that person and say, hey, I want to talk to you before I actually contact the company directly. That can also solidify in ways that I can't even describe. I've had people contact me and say, you know what, I'm ready to work with you. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me what you're looking for. And they'll immediately say, you know what, I contacted this person from your website and I had time to talk with them. And then I reached out to this person too, because I saw something they said that I was interested in also. And when they start doing that and they talk to people that have already experienced your solution, it creates a trust. And that's what you want. So make sure, as a recap, that the quality of your testimonials really reflect the solutions that you offer to your clients. Okay. Again, you also want to make sure the quality of your messaging is intact and in place. You want to make sure that you're communicating things consistently. You don't want people to feel like they don't know who you are. If they go to your website and can't tell what exactly you do, that's an issue. If they go to your Facebook and then to your YouTube and then to your podcast and then to your website and then maybe even to your events and still can't really garner what solutions do they really offer, that's an issue. There's not going to be any trust. Okay. And then the last is creating a sense of consistency across all boards. So here's a great assignment to do. First and foremost, do your own review. Look at everything across the board and ask yourself, would I work with myself if I looked at the information that I'm looking at right now? And be honest. Okay, no one's going to know what you're thinking. No one's going to know what the results are of what you're finding, except for you. So make sure you spend some time really thinking through and looking through, is my brand really communicating what it is I actually do? Do I see feedback from people that I've worked with? Do I feel like my messaging is really, on point? Next, ask people, not friends and family. Ask people, colleagues that you trust, even past clients. Look at my branding. Does it really communicate what you know that I do? Putting another set of eyes on that will give you some really good feedback. And I know that feedback isn't something that everybody loves because, it's your baby, it's your business, it's your nonprofit, it's your organization, it's your programs, and you love it, right? But at the same token, if you're not getting the results that you're wanting to get, if you're only getting in a trickling of clients, but you're not getting the kind of growth that you're looking for, this is important to ask. This is important to make sure that your areas of entry into your business are consistent. You want people to feel like, man, this is a brand that I want to align myself with and align my dollars with, right? You want them to feel that way. And nowadays, with markets being so saturated, the one thing you don't want to become is gray. You don't want to blend in. Trust trumps so much. When people trust you, they refer you. When they trust you, they stay loyal to you. When they trust you, they're going to post about you. That's what you want. Brand, loyalty, and trust. Okay? So do those two things, and whatever results that you get, whether your brand is on fire and is great, then maintain that. Create a plan to maintain what you're doing well. If you find there's some spots, clean them up. Fill in those gaps with the things that you know will be able to create a clean across the board consistency so that you can really build trust. And I'm going to end on this note too. Just like in any relationship, personal, professional, trust takes time. Don't rush it. You can't fire hose trust on people. You can't fire hose a bunch of information and expect people to trust you. Building trust takes time. And I already mentioned consistency, but it's also making sure you're communicating in different mediums. Because some people are going to see things one way, some people are going to find you in other aspects. Just know that this is a long-term game, but it's one that's worth being in. When you build that trust and it keeps growing and growing and growing over time, you're going to find how marketable you are, how profitable you are, and that you have great sustainability. And that's what you want in business. You don't want to feel like you're all over the place. You want to build a loyal group of clients that will love you, that you care about them, and that you guys are able to build together. Okay? So those are my points on building trust in your brand. Thank you, as I always say, and I mean it. Thank you for listening to our podcast. I want to encourage you to go over to our website. We have been adding some really fun new things. We have a new program that you'll see on there, our membership program. And I invite you to learn more about what we do over here at Behind Her Brand. You can visit us at www.behindherbrand.net. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day.